This is the commission piece, the sphere glass that I am anxious to get going on, and it is meant for a wall piece. And the client wanted something for a main room, and as you can see, it's just slightly turning concave, so it's quite gentle, but it won't rest flat against the wall, but will come out a little bit. And my, I think a lot about what I'm doing, but I don't plan before when I work with these things. It's the glass is my canvas, but I don't plan things out generally. I love just to be very spontaneous because I could do hundreds of these, and so if I procrastinate on one piece, it's a waste, because I can just do this and go through it and love every minute of it, and then worry about doing the next piece when that time comes. But what I'm imagining is this idea of architecture, whatever kind. It's not maybe a predictable architecture. I do a lot of Roman Renaissance architecture, but for this I think I'll just go for something quite crazy. And I am continually thinking that I would love a mask idea, which I've used grotesque face sculptural drawings of drawings for what would be on top of buildings, churches like Notre Dame and things like that. There are these grotesques, these wonderful figures. So I would like to do something like that on here, incorporating architecture, because the architecture gives it that depth, and so that's my hope. I do like commissions, because even if a client says, you can do whatever you want, there is obviously always going to be some spice from that person coming into the, because I've met them, or they've spoken to me, or generally I will meet someone face to face, and part of that person, I think subconsciously one is always thinking of someone, even if I'm determined to do it my way. That will influence it. So with this particular person, I do know an appreciation of architecture, and of also a certain quirkiness to the imagery. So, and I do think it should be, when you're using architecture, there is a seriousness to it, but also I think there should be humor in what I'm doing. I'm not there should be, but I do enjoy putting things in that necessarily don't comply with this overall feel of a piece, but they do lend it, they do add something to it, which otherwise might make it too dry or just too predictable. I love the fact that I can pick out a piece from one of the boxes of images I have, and it can just suddenly, a little tiny figure becomes the centerpiece, just because that's what happens with collage. Right, well, as I had mentioned, it's a commission piece, and it's with a client that I have known for a number of years, who bought pieces earlier on. But he was looking for something in the progression of my work, and I hadn't done anything for him for several years. So I have a better idea of who he is and what his tastes are, and what his home looks like, and what kind of environment that he's comfortable at. So I created something which I felt was a bit more contemporary than the other pieces. So, as I had hoped to do, I never can really be rigid about what I'm doing, because the workflow is very spontaneous as well. I might know what images I would like to use, but I'm not rigid about sticking with only them. But in this case, I had found these wonderful masks from all different countries, and I was fascinated by almost the fearful, frightening looks that they have, but it was also, how am I going to turn it into something that that actually tells a story and also is not too frightening. And yet I also wanted to use some architecture. So a lot of the pieces I've used with the masks are from very unusual architecture that doesn't follow a theme, but is slightly mad, slightly crazy. So these are from a building, a palazzo in Italy, which is a hunting lodge which was converted in 1910 or so, or even a little bit earlier, and with very crazy, wacky decorations, decorative things, which don't conform at all with the building. But I love that idea with this. So I put those kind of quirky elements of architecture with these very quirky and very peculiar masks. And at the end of it, you know, it could be very serious at the very end, you know, what the ground would be. And so I could have used what I have, a gold leaf or a silver leaf or the handmade paper, but I just thought he's more, he's a man of this century, so he's not going to look for something very rococo or something very ornate in that sense. So I thought the pea green, and I thought the color was crazy and good, but it actually, I believe, works. And as you know, this piece is going to go on a wall, so that explains the back. So this will have a fixture on it, which means that it will go pure and clean on a wall and can be you know, you zoom into it. I think when you walk into a room, you'll see this piece, and it, because of the shape of the concave glass, it will, I think, give a sense of moving into it. You know, I'm quite happy with it because it was the first time doing a big sphere like this, and now I really am excited about beginning and continuing with these. And being really quite, going from all sorts of imagery, because I think on this kind of a surface, it's more like a canvas. And I think I will go for more vibrant colors like this on the back, as opposed to a filigree or decorative piece. I think that looks more like the ground of a canvas. The circular pieces, the spheres, were things I've thought about for about 5 or 6 years, but I haven't had time to do it, and then sourcing them is quite challenging. To source to be able to create this mold of it, but also that it's even and the glass doesn't become hazy, which often happens when a piece is heated. Yes, as put on these molds, that sometimes the glass can become quite foggy. So now I think we've resolved that issue, and it's for me, it's very nice to imagine these pieces more as a collage, but on glass, on a wall. It changes it for me. It becomes, it's not then something to be utilized, or you know, something. Well, what is that for? If it goes on the wall, it means something else, I think. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing a lot of these now. I'm really looking forward to it. I've already put the order in, the commission in for more of these, and thicker, even different thicknesses of glass. But yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go with lots of them. So this is quite a shot in the arm for me, because it's something. It was quite challenging to do this, even putting this pea green graffiti acrylic behind it. You know, I thought, do I do it? Do I not do it? And then it was so great to do it and not know what it would look like entirely. You know, it was a bit of a guess, but you can't change it. This isn't like a canvas or a sculpture that you can just add something to if you don't like it, or change the color. If it's on this, it's on it. And you know, if it doesn't work out, that's it. There's nothing you can do. Turn it into a big, yeah,